what do you think are some of the biggest myths that people feel or believe about enrolling students with given all of your experience and thousands and thousands of conferences that you've done?
One of the myths behind sales is that people think that it should just be effortless. Like you get a lead in and they should automatically sign up right then and there. And I think that's the frustrating part, because when you're doing a sale, it's all about building trust, right? And trust doesn't happen instantaneously. It's something that's worked on. It's something that's built.
The difference is we don't chase leads, we attract them.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are chasing leads. And because they're chasing leads, they're chasing special offers or discounts that they think would get someone incentivized to come in.
They're coming in not just to get the best deal, but they're coming in because they know we are the best.
Yeah.
And I think that also goes after not only things that we do recently, but things that we've done for years.
Welcome back to the Jennifer Waters podcast. Today, I'm being joined by one of my business partners, Daniel Corley.
Great to be
He's
here.
Also head of sales for our several locations that we have. And today we're talking all things enrollments for school owners.
Yeah.
I wanted to just kickstart this thing right away. I mean, you've been doing sales almost 10 years?
Almost 10 years. And started
10 years.
when I was about 15 years old, actually doing sales, and 24 years old now.
That's amazing. It's amazing. A lot of people would say, well, what kind of sales were you really doing when you were a teenager and you were 15?
Oh,
So for the people who may be thinking, okay, well, that sounds ridiculous, a 15, 16, 17-year-old to be able to do that. Tell everybody about kind of the training experience that I took you through, what you ended up doing, and then we'll just dive into some of the things that school owners
Yeah, definitely. Well, I started actually being a part of our schools, and I started when I was a kid, and then started teaching when I was about 14 years old, and then shortly after became an apprentice, became a lead instructor, then started doing sales, and actually you started teaching me the entire introductory lesson process, and then you were training with me on not only how to be able to do the lesson, but how to be able to do the close, the discovery, all of the different parts of it. And by the time I was 15, and pretty much took over the entire process and was doing sales. I remember one time when I was like 15, had like almost 30 people in that room like teaching it. It was insane. And started taking over the entire enrollment process for our flagship school, which was pretty awesome, and did everything from A to Z when it comes to signing up new students.
Yeah. The system works when you're working the system.
It does. It really works when you're working the system. I mean, I know you talk to school owners all the time that just don't follow the process, right?
Yeah, no, they think that if I run an ad, someone's going to sign up, but the ad's job or the marketing's job is just to get somebody to raise their hand. What sales does is it extends your hand as a school owner to theirs to shake and say, let's do this together. And so that's what you've been doing a lot of. When we talk to school owners, they're kind of coming from that mindset. So I'm just curious, what do you think are some of the biggest myths that people feel or believe about enrolling students with given all of your experience and thousands of conferences that you've done?
That's a really great question. I think one of the myths behind sales is that people think that it should just be effortless. Like you get a lead in and they should automatically sign up right then and there. And I think that's the frustrating part, because when you're doing a sale, it's all about building trust, right? And trust doesn't happen instantaneously. It's something that's worked on. It's something that's built. Right. And I know you talk to school owners all the time too, and I know that's one of the frustrating things is people think that it should just happen, right?
Yeah, a lot of school owners have this thought process that I'm good at what I do. People should be able to recognize it, and if I just get them in the door, they'll sign up. Yeah. Biggest difference is that usually the school owners who believe that if I just get them in the door, they'll sign up, are usually the ones that have a warm enrollment process, like referrals or people who've searched them and researched them on their website, and they're coming in, they already are very, very interested, ready to go. But people who have never heard of them before, maybe have never even considered joining what it is that they do, those school owners have a hard time. Ends up happening is they say, no, it's not me, it's the ad's fault, it's the lead's fault.
Right.
So what's something special that you do to take someone who has never heard about us, never just clicked on an ad 2 days ago, what's something that you could maybe recommend to school owners to do that you do that allows you to have, I mean, you close like 70 to 80% a lot of times.
Yeah.
And you're training our school operators to do the same thing. So what's something special maybe that you share with our operators that you could share with our audience?
Definitely. I think one of the special parts about it, and that if you can really do this, like everything else falls into place, is you find out why they actually need it. Right? It's not just something that they do. It's not just something that they come a couple times a week or just, it's something that's in the back of their head. It's something that has to be at the forefront of what they're looking forward to, like doing every single week. So I think if you can find out the real reason about why they need what you're selling, like when it comes to martial arts, like are they needing improvement in their self-confidence? Are they needing improvement in their focus or their discipline? And I think if we can find that out, we can tie how what we do can actually fix their problems. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I really train our school operators on, and even our clients as well, is that if they can really find out what the need actually is, then it'll help them tremendously. And I know, a lot of the times we even try to focus on that on the front end too, right? Before they even walk through the doors. When it comes to booking those appointments.
Yeah, if marketing is doing its right job, it is helping sales.
Right, absolutely.
It is doing that, which is why if you're a school owner and you're just putting a special offer out there, that is the worst way to advertise.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no separator. There's nothing that makes you different than anybody else. And so what happens is you get people that really are price shopping, comparing you to other schools. We don't have that a lot in our schools where people are coming in and being like, oh, well, I need to go check out another school, then I'll get back with you.
No, we really don't. I mean, the people that are coming into us is because, they're not looking around at other martial arts schools. They're looking for something for their kid. And when they think of martial arts, they think of us first. What do you think are some of the reasons that actually happens for us? Because I know other school owners are like, have problems with people going and shopping around in their community.
Yeah. Well, the difference is we don't chase leads. We attract them.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are chasing leads. And because they're chasing leads, they're chasing special offers or discounts that they think would get someone incentivized to come in.
Like give them the best deal.
They think about it like it's a retail store. Like retail stores or restaurants are incentivized to get people to come inside. But because there's so many different restaurants, so many different retail stores, especially the less expensive restaurants, let's just say. The less expensive restaurants, you go into like a McAllister's or Chick-fil-A or whatever, they're going to have maybe a special discount or a reason why you might shop there.
Yeah.
But think about how many times you ever see a high-end steakhouse say, hey, today we got sirloins on special.
No, you never do. I mean, you're right. It's always like the lower ones. The
cheaper ones.
The cheaper ones. Because when you go to a fancy restaurant, you're expecting to pay that price, and you're going there because of the service, the environment, the food that's there. And I think that's a really great point, because that's what makes us different too. Like they're coming in not just to get the best deal, but they're coming in because they know we are the best.
Yeah.
And I think that also goes after not only things that we do recently, but things that we've done for years, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you have the budget for paid social media, definitely you should be running it, but you shouldn't be doing like the specials or the things that a lot of agencies try to get you to do.
Yeah.
You got to do things that separate you. Video, doing what we're doing right now, video is the biggest differentiator, especially with AI. AI is making it so that everybody could look relatively professional. Like back in the day, like when you were a little kid, people used to figure out, or they used to think about schools, and they would judge their professionalism by the way that the school actually looked. There would be a time where people would actually come walk inside your doors, look around, and then that's how they would judge their professionalism. But now, and where you're located, right? But now, people will judge professionalism on social media, online, on platforms. But the thing is with AI, everybody can look professional, and they're not. They're not. And so the only way that you're really being able to separate is they can't copy you as a founder.
Yeah.
So you as a founder or your head instructors, whoever's there, creating that ambiance, talking about your specific mission and values. Now, they can copy and say we have similar missions and values, but that's where you being first to market and solidifying and putting your stamp on it, people go, well, no, wait, that's just a copy of those other people. Like, this is the original.
Right.
And so that is a huge reason why when people come in, that they're not price shopping, and they're coming in, they're like, I've been seeing stuff everywhere, and then they're coming in. So marketing does its job, then it makes sales easier. What's another myth do you think that some school owners believe about sales? We already kind of talked about that it should be easy. It's not.
Exactly.
So what's another one you think people get hung up on?
I think another thing that people get hung up on is judging the type of prospect when they walk in the door. Like, I talk with a lot of school owners all the time, and they're always like, well, I know who's going to enroll based off of the first impression of meeting them. Like, just off of their first appearance, of them walking in the door. Like, I know who's going to sign up and who's not going to sign up because I've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
Which is, like, far from the truth. Like, I can't tell you how many times that maybe I have had that thought and try to keep it out of my head of, you know, well, maybe this person will, maybe who's going to enroll, who's not going to enroll.
Yeah.
But really, I've had people that have enrolled that have surprised me over many times, just because you can never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
How many times have you experienced that? In the past? I know, like, a lot as well.
Yeah, a lot. You do have to push it back a lot, you know, because you don't know who's going to sign up, who's not going to sign up. And it is challenging when you're like, oh, man, I've got this really good deal that's lined up. I'm going to make this one happen. I'm going to get this full family enrollment. And then that person who you think is going to do it is like, no, we're not going to do it. And then you got somebody else over here who's like a grandparent, for example, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to pay for the whole thing, for the whole year. And the thing that I always try to think about is I need to make sure, like, this is just a level of personal integrity. I need to make sure that whenever I am training you or the operators or whoever it is, that we are giving our best, no matter if the person is there just for a free evaluation or they're going to become a prospect. Because the other thing is that people are 7 times more likely to share a bad experience that they've had than a good experience that they've had.
Yeah.
So if you can create a good environment, I mean, we've had people that haven't enrolled who've given us Google reviews.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Like,
you know, just because of the experience. Maybe they legit, like, could not afford it.
Right.
But they still had the best experiences possible.
And then they're going and telling other people.
And they're going and telling other people that are coming to us as well. And I think that's what makes the difference is your reputation, because you never know who that person might tell someone else to.
And that happens all the time too. Someone, maybe it's not a right fit for them, but it's a right fit for their nephew, or it's a right fit for their, you know, sister or whoever it might be, or friend. Okay, so people go, okay, I've got check mark, I've got that, check mark, I've got this. Some school owners get hung up on objections.
Yeah, all the time.
So would you say to someone that is struggling with people that say, well, I need to go think about it, or I need to go talk to my spouse? Because when I'm talking to school owners, and school owners, you can leave in the comments, does this happen to you? But when I talk to school owners, this seems to come up quite a bit. So what would you say to a school owner that's struggling with that?
Here's the thing about objections. When someone gives you an objection, they're not giving you a no. They're just they're giving you an excuse on why they can't do it right then and there. So actually, I mean, I would rather have an objection than just someone telling me no straight to my face, because at least there's something that I can work off of and things that I can do to overcome those to help guide them in the best decision as possible for them and their family. I think a lot of the times when people get objections, they immediately are like, oh, well, this person's not going to sign up because of X, Y, and Z. So I think it's a matter of being able to handle those objections in the right way and find out, because a lot of objections are smokescreens as far as why they don't want to do it today or why they feel like they can't do it today. So I think if people can really take a step back and understand the reason that people give objections and then work through it, I think it'll really make, you know, a big difference.
So when you say so the reasons that they're giving them, let's double tap on that and just dive into that. So what are the most common reasons or the common objections that once we get past I need to go home, think about it, like, what are those things? Yeah,
I think really the main objections that it boils down to is, you know, pricing. Like, can they afford this? Can this actually fit into their budget? Scheduling, like if they really have a tight schedule and maybe your classes are limited and there's only so many times that they can come to. And then also, like, do they believe that this program can actually work? Because if they don't believe that your program, if they haven't seen the value and what you do, then it's extremely difficult, if not almost impossible, for them to be able to, you know, sign up because they're just not believing in what you do.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of the, I guess, the biggest tips that you would give to school owners to help people to be able to get them to believe before you even get to those objections?
Well, when it comes down to it, you really need to have what we call the 3 C's, right? So we have to have we need to have a core desire. Like, what is the core desire of your ideal student profile? Like, what do they want? You know, for people that have, let's say, a private school that might be watching this, or a tutoring school, it's probably around academics. Like, the parent maybe wants to give them a better chance at a better education, or maybe they're wanting their child to get out of a public school environment into a smaller environment. So if I know what their desire is, then I can start being able to craft a presentation around that desire. And same thing for extracurricular programs. Why is someone wanting to come to an extracurricular program? Or, you know, sometimes we have child care centers that they do certain activities. Like maybe they'll have a child care center, but they're also providing activities like art or music or dance or whatever. What's the core desire of the parent that would even bring their child to that? And what we have to do is, if we can figure out what that core desire is, then we can start crafting the whole entire presentation prior to that to say, hey, I see you and you're the type of person that I actually want. And then the second C that we do is, once we have their core desires, we got to figure out what their core blockers are. Like what's causing them to not get the desire of their heart, whatever that thing is.
What's holding them back from doing it on their own?
What's holding them back? What are the things that, if we could just remove that obstacle or remove that block, and if we can't remove it, can we create a bridge over the top of it to get to the other side? And once we have that, the core desire, the core solution, then we can present our core deliverable. You know, what's the thing that we're going to have? What's on the other side of the bridge? And if we can get them through those things, they will typically have that belief. Like we figure out what the solution, what the desire is, and then we're going to be able to get them to what that belief is on the other side. But I think that, I know we used to do this a long time ago. We used to have people come into a class, they would try a class, we would ask them, hey, did you like it?
Did you have fun?
Did you have fun? I hate that question at the end, because it has nothing to do with the transformational experience they're having. But did you have fun? We'd show them the class schedule. We'd pass the class schedule across the desk. It would have the schedule on it, and on the flip side, it would have our special offer. And then we're like, do you want to sign up? And then people would walk out the door. The few people that we had would walk out the door. It's because we never did anything to address their core desires, the core solutions, or the core deliverable that we had. So if you put those things in place, that's how you build up that belief in someone or in the program itself. Let's talk about persistence, because I think that's another thing. There was a study, I can't quote the exact study, but basically it says that you're going to have to follow up at least 7 to 8 times on someone before they actually say yes. Yeah,
I've heard that a lot too.
And, you know, sometimes this happens in the actual presentation when you're doing your enrollment conference. But sometimes it's happening before, during that, and then after. Talk about what you found to be the most effective way to ask and follow up.
Definitely.
People.
Yeah. I would say a big part of it is making sure that you plan these yeses throughout it as well to keep them engaged. So like if you just get to the end and you just preview or evaluate and then show them, then you're only asking like a yes or no question at the end. Well, that's only getting them to buy in one time. Instead, what I want to do is I want to get all these small buy-ins throughout the entire interaction with them. So like even like at the very beginning when I'm doing discovery or trying to help them figure out what it is that they actually need, to find out, you know, what it is that can actually help them. And if we can show them how this is going to solve X, Y, and Z, is this something that they're looking to get started with immediately, right? Getting that buy-in even at the front to make sure that this is something that they're wanting help with now. And then throughout the lesson, also pointing out the different areas of the parents see that their kid is struggling with, that it can actually benefit them. So I'm creating these small yeses by asking different questions like, whoa, did you see how focused they were during that? Do they typically do that like when they're with you? Or helping them see the difference of what's happening with me versus what's happening on their own. And even doing different temperature checks, right? Finding out different points like how they're feeling about the program itself, and not just how they like it. Like, how do they feel about the program and how this could actually help their child. So if you can do that before you even get to, you know, the price drop where you're actually going through everything, it'll help keep them more engaged, and they're saying yes multiple times before saying that big yes to actually getting started. But I think a lot of it is planning when you're actually going to do those things.
I like that, yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, is because there's a lot of people who maybe have like their own sales process, like this is what they do, but it's not actually like planned, it's not actually intentional. I think is really key.
So wait, when you mean planned and intentional,
Yeah.
do you mean a script?
I mean a script. That's right. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so people have, I've encountered a lot of school owners out
Yeah.
there. I've never found a multiple seven-figure school owner who's disagreed with me about scripting.
Right.
I've always found people that disagree with me about enrollment scripts that are doing less than 7 figures a year. They say it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, I don't need it. Why do you think it's so necessary if you want $1 million business to have a script?
I think it's because it's scalable, right? If you want to be able to get to 7 figures, you can't do it all on your own.
Yeah.
You have to be able to have a team that can help you do it. And if someone's doing it this way and you're doing it this way, it's not cohesive.
Yeah.
So the information is not going to be presented in the right way, and you're not going to be doing or saying the right things to get those small yeses that lead to the ultimate yes. That's how we've been able to get to 7 figures and maintain it, and how other people do is because it's a repeatable process. It's
Right.
a scalable process. I think is the main thing.
And when scripting is there, we just hand it over and it's one-time thing, or there's something else besides that that makes it scalable? What else would that thing be?
It's about practicing. It's about repetition. It's actually a lot harder, for people to, which I find this very interesting. It's a lot harder for people to practice their sales scripts with people who actually know it. People find it easier to do it with someone who doesn't know, what they're talking about. And I think that's a lot of the times why people don't practice it. They don't get it into memorizations because it feels awkward and it feels uncomfortable, but it's only awkward and uncomfortable if you make it awkward
Right.
and uncomfortable. So we do daily practice. Like every single day we're practicing our sales scripts. And I think that's how you're able to also get your close rates up, because you're able to fine tune. You're able to hear the things that are turning people off and hear the things that are getting people to buy in. I know we practice every day. We work on our sales scripts. We work
Yeah.
on our objection handling. What would you say is the amount of time that like a typical school owner should spend on a daily basis practicing?
Well, I start with a simple framework, usually like with our clients, because
Yeah.
this concept of practicing sales is really foreign to them.
Right.
And I just, for anybody who's out there who's watching who has ever felt like, well, wait, but I'm the only one who's selling, how do I practice?
Yeah.
I literally remember setting up a camcorder, because this was years ago when I was first learning sales. I would set up a camcorder because the iPhone wasn't around yet.
Wasn't around yet, yep.
And I would record myself presenting, and then I would go back and I would watch the recording. Well, you got this now. Like,
Exactly.
you put it on selfie mode, you record yourself presenting, and then you go back and you make sure that, did I say the things I should, or what should I change? And it's just like watching gameplay and footage. So
Yeah.
if you're a solo operator, you do it every day until you get to the point where you are not making mistakes. That's it. So it's like, I do it every day until I'm not making mistakes, and then I switch into reviewing my sales footage. So if you're able to record, like if you're able to take your phone or your watch and press record on it when you're presenting, then you can go back and listen to what you did. Some people out here right now that are listening to me say this are like, that's way too hard.
Takes too much time.
It takes too much time. It's
Yeah.
way too hard. But those are also the same people who aren't hitting 7 figures, who are still stuck in the day-to-day or stuck in the grind. Like,
Yeah.
nothing that you do that's going to get you to where you want to be is going to be simple or easy. If it was, everybody else would already be there.
That's true.
And then it would make the goal a moot point anyway. So,
Right. Because anybody and everyone could get there. So
it wouldn't matter anyway,
Wouldn't
right?
matter, yeah.
So, like, it is going to take effort. It's going to take hard work. And then, once you get that down, then if you start having a team, well, obviously the best thing is daily. Sometimes I have school owners and they say, well, but I have a part-time team member. They only work like a couple of days a week. I think it's just, you go, okay, you're a part-time team member. We're going to work on this when you're here.
Right.
And we're just going to do it. And then if you absolutely positively can't do it because of scheduling or whatever, then at least have it once a week or every other week at a set time that you come in that's different from your regular, in-house. I'm doing different things. I'm doing activities to work in the business. That way you can work on the business. So
Exactly.
So minimums would be practicing on that. If you can't get a set time on the schedule every 2 weeks, get once a month. But anything outside of that, like you can't call it practice.
Yeah, you really can't. I mean, it's the same thing when it comes to any sport, activity, athlete, or even going to the gym. You can expect to go, once a month and see progress.
No.
Right? It's going to take consistency.
No,
I think
not.
that's the biggest part too. And the cool thing is, I mean, with technology nowadays, you don't have to be like at a scheduled time, at a scheduled place in order to do it. Like you can literally practice your scripts, read through it, set up a recording at your home or at the school or wherever you're at, and practice it on your own time too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a lot of, because we have, different locations, so it's not like we're all together practicing it at the same time every single week. There's self-training that people do on their own as well, which I think is really cool. How important would you say it is for, someone's employee or even for a school owner to be able to practice it on their own?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Again, it kind of comes back to the goals. So if you're a school owner, and you're not where you want to be, there's two levers that you can pull really hard, marketing and sales. So everything that you do should be based on that. Because probably you could teach with your eyes closed. So you don't probably need to teach. I mean, you could do that. So then it comes down to the things that aren't as natural to you, which would be marketing and sales. So you do those things until you're so full with new students that you have to start fixing the retention issues that you have.
Right.
And then you come back to marketing and sales. So it's like this full cycle that you're going to keep doing. And teaching will be a part of it, but it's not the part for a lot of school owners, especially the ones that are hovering, let's say, between $20,000 and $50,000 a month. Their struggle is maybe they've had a little bit of success, so they think they're doing good, but maybe there's a tweak that they need to make in the retention to keep students, whatever. But a lot of times it has to do with you're not spending enough on marketing and you're not doing enough volume of sales. And most people get stuck because they do one-on-one enrollment conferences versus group. And I know that's a big thing that we do inside of Seven Figure Dojo is teach people how to go from one-on-one to group. So when you're working with school operators and you're working with our clients, why do you think there's so much resistance to switch from one-on-one conferences to group conferences?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think because people think that because they do it in a group environment that's going to maybe affect everyone else's decision, or they can't do it because it's just them by themselves and it's too much to be able to do everything all at once. But in reality, it's only as complicated as you make it. And actually what I have found is the more synergy that you can have in that room, the more of an emotional state that you get families into. Because they see people who are just like them, who are here for the same reasons that they can relate to. And I think when that happens and they see someone else and they see themselves and they see their child, it really puts them in that state of, man, I have to do this now. Like it's something where they have that internal urgency to want to do. And I think people get stuck on it so much because they just feel like there's no way for them to be able to do it with just their two hands and not have people helping them. But really, it's possible as long as you set aside the time. It would save you a lot of time in the long run. Yeah. Plus, I've seen even higher conversions just because of that synergy if you do the right things to be able to get everybody really engaged.
Yeah, we just had one of our clients, Barbara. She went from one-on-ones to group. I think she had either 3 families or 4. I think it was either 90% or 100%, but literally most of the families that showed up signed up. Yeah. Because of that synergy. And she didn't have a fancy room or anything. She literally just brought them and sat them down in her office, kind of all huddled together, and went over everything, and then they signed up. And she said it was saving her so much time. Yeah. Because, like I said, part of the reason why people are capping out in that $20,000 to $50,000 a month range is because you only have a certain amount of time plus all the other tasks that you have. And all
the other classes you have to teach if you don't have a team to teach them for you. Or space. Like if you don't have a separate room to be able to do it in, then, there's only so much time you have for those one-on-ones.
Do you think, though, that it's important to have more than just one group enrollment experience per week? Because, like, for those of you who are martial artists are watching, back in the day, the martial arts world, because I've heard this from other school owners where they'll say, hey, I did that years ago and it doesn't work. And so the process that those school owners would do, because this was the training process, they would have 1 or 2 times a month that they would do this thing. They would take all the leads that they had that hadn't signed up or that had come in, and they would push them to come to this one event. Yeah. They would get 30 people there. They would make it a huge experience, a very rah-rah, high energy experience. And then what would happen is they would only get like 3 or 4 people to sign up. And so they say, hey, it didn't work because I put all this energy into it. what we're talking about is much different.
It is.
Than that.
It's more semi-private versus a massive group thing, because when you have, 20 and 30 people coming at one time, you cannot give everyone the personal touch that they need. It's like one instructor teaching a class of 30 kids. Can I do it? Absolutely. Do I want to do it? No, because I can't get to every kid. I can't help them to the best of my ability. So we're talking semi-private, and it's a different environment.
Yeah.
So that way we can give everyone that personal attention and still save enough time to be able to do multiple people at once. But I think a huge reason why also those don't work as well is because you're having people wait for so long. Like, if someone is a lead and you're doing all this marketing work on the front to get them raising their hand, and then you get them and you set an appointment for 2 weeks, well, they're probably going to be searching for other options for people who can get them in faster. I mean, we live in an Amazon day where you want it the next day and you want it now.
Or the same day.
Or the same day, if you're anything like me. So, like, if you're getting people to wait 2 and 3 weeks, or even a week is too long, to have someone come in, like if you're just doing a group lesson like one time a week, then you're losing opportunities because people aren't going to come in just because it's not then and there.
Right.
So I think if you can have multiple lessons throughout your week, you can plan that into your schedule, you can get people in faster. And when you can get people in faster, it's still on top of mind.
Yeah.
So what would you say the likelihood of someone actually showing up is if they're sitting there for 2 to 3 weeks? Before?
Oh, we know that the show percentage drastically takes a hit when you're outside of 72 hours.
Yeah.
Like it's let's say you can get 50 to 60% of people to show up within a 48-hour window. It falls off a cliff, and you might get 10 to 20% to show up outside of that, like 72-hour window from cold traffic. And cold traffic would be people who've never heard of you, or they've never thought about coming to your school until they clicked on an ad.
Right.
So your ability to take that attention that you just grabbed and convert that attention into an enrollment, it's directly correlated to your availability.
Yeah.
If you don't have times available, then they're probably not going to sign up in that time frame.
Exactly.
So, man, this has been a lot of sales advice experience. For those of you who are watching, this is something that we do for school and academy owners inside of Seven Figure Dojo. And if you want to know more about how it actually works, like what do we do beyond sales inside of Seven Figure Dojo, there's going to be a link in the description. Go ahead and make sure you tap on that, and it'll tell you more about what we do. And then make sure you go ahead and hit the like button while you're at it, and subscribe to the channel for more awesome podcasts. Until next time, thanks for watching the Jennifer Waters podcast.